right, bit of breaking news. Well, breaking news in the last couple of hours. It's a very, very big one, a very, very important one as well. So, the Ring Magazine are reporting that Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford now has an agreement in place for a mega fight in September on a Riyadh season card in America. Now, crucially, I want to talk about that. So it says a Riyadh season card in America, in Las Vegas to be exact. Now, as far as we were aware, shows that were taking place out of Riyadh in Saudi Arabia were going to be Ring Magazine shows. And shows that were taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, were going to be Riyadh season shows. They had talked about, in fact, I know Ryan Garcia versus Ronnie Romero has been announced for today. They haven't given an exact date, but it's going to happen in May. It's going to be in a Ring Magazine show. The rumour mill was that Devin and Ryan were going to fight on the same show, a Ring Magazine show in America, and they were going to kick off Riyadh season in October, provided they both win, of course, which, given the opponents they're in with, you would imagine that's quite likely. So this is an interesting one. A Riyadh season card in Las Vegas, Nevada. So does that mean then that what they originally said about Ring Magazine shows being pretty much everything outside of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, does that mean that's gone now? And if it's a Riyadh season show, they tend to be, judging by what we have on February 22nd and what we've had in the past, they tend to be pretty damn good. So Crawford versus Canelo, September of this year in Las Vegas, Nevada. I spoke about this with Ade on Thursday night. We both agree that Las Vegas, Nevada, in terms of boxing, it's a phenomenal place. You have the MGM Grand, you have the Thomas and Mack Center if needs be. It won't be there, obviously. But you also have the T-Mobile Arena. So you have incredible venues that have had incredible fights, and the atmosphere in all of them is mega. I think this fight outdoes all of them. I think you'd have to do it in the stadium. You'd have to get a stadium. Is it the Raiders who play in Las Vegas? You'd have to do it there. It's too big a fight for that. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, look. Yeah. This fight happening at 168. Crawford, he started his career at 135, won a world title there. Went to 140, unified, became undisputed, and then immediately fought Jeff Horn at 147. I think, he picked up all the titles against Errol Spence. I don't think he unified at all. I think he was going into that fight just as WBO champion. Errol Spence went in, he went in as pretty much every other title. So he was undisputed at 147. And then went up to 154, beat Adrian Majimov. It was a competitive fight. Make no mistake about that. But I thought Crawford did just do enough to win. To go from that straight up to 168. I know Crawford, people like Richard Torres have spoken about his physical strength, saying that he's tremendously physically strong. But going to 168, it's going to be a different kettle of fish altogether. At the end of the day, Crawford, when he weighed in the morning after, I know HBO were big on that back in the day. You don't really tend to see it now so much nowadays. But apparently he weighed in at 170 the morning after he weighed in to fight Adrian Majimov. Now, 170 pounds, you would say, well, look, that's over 168. And Crawford, maybe when he's not trying to make 154, he'd be closer to 180. Nevertheless, Canelo Alvarez is still the naturally bigger guy. He's the natural 168 pounder. So you got to figure if Crawford is going to be weighing in, say, at 168, and say the morning after, because there's apparently no rehydration clause in this fight, it won't really affect Canelo because he's not the biggest 168 pounder in the world. You compare him, I'll give you an example, right? You look at Dave Benavidez and Dave Morrell, who fought on the weekend. They're coming up from 168. People, you try and tell me Canelo Alvarez, I know he's not as tall as those guys, but you tell me he's going to weigh anything near what they weighed in, whether they're at 168 or whether they're at 178. He's not. So he's not the biggest 168 pounder in the world, but he's going to be bigger than Crawford. And I do wonder, will that make a difference? Having said that, me and Ade spoke about this, that you look at someone like Alexander Usyk. He came up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. He weighs 220 thereabouts for all of his fights. He's pretty much bang on 220, 221, 222. And he went in there against Tyson Fury, who outweighed him by 50 pounds, and I think 40 odd pounds in the first fight. And each time he walked the bigger guy down. Now, I know a heavyweight, you're going to turn around and say, well, That is a bit different because the skill gap is normally a bit bigger, which it is, but nevertheless the size differences are absolutely massive. The size difference between Crawford and Canelo may be about, what, 10 pounds, there or thereabouts. Can Crawford's skill offset that? I don't know. Personally, me, I don't think it can, but I am damn intrigued to find out. They're saying this fight is agreed, or certainly agreement in place for September. What does that mean then for the month of May? Because we always know Canelo, May, September, Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Weekend, in that order. That's how he normally does it. He might chuck the odd December date, November date in there, but primarily they're his fight dates. So what does that mean then? Because we know Turki Al-Sheikh, he is the sort of guy where he doesn't mind if he has a fight penciled in for down the line. He might let one, or maybe even both guys fight. He might even let them fight in the same card. You know, he's done that in the past. Joshua Wilder, we all know how that ended, but yeah, he's doing it with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. So he has done that in the past where he's let both guys fight on the same respective card. But a fight of this particular magnitude, would he do it? Crawford, you know, he's pretty much said it that, you know, it's Canelo or bust. That's all he's really staying in boxing for. So he really isn't up for any other fight. And because of that, I wouldn't put him out there again. Because if you think about it like this, say you put him in there with, just hypothetically, someone at 154 who in theory he should beat, but what if he's not sufficiently up for it? You never know. Or 160 for argument's sake, what if he's not sufficiently up for it? You never know. In terms of Canelo, you could put him in there with someone like a William Skull, someone like a Christian Mbele. I'd pick him over both those guys, to be honest with you. I would. Or a Bruno Serafis who knocked out Jaime Munguia. I'd pick him over all those guys, but you run the risk of maybe, you know, hitting him in the wrong place. Oh, my hand's broken, you know, a freak head clash or something like that. You run the risk of that. And I think with a fight of this magnitude, which is a massive fight between two massive names, certainly on the US side of the pond, massive fight, I don't think Turkey's going to want to take any risk with that. That's just me from the outside looking. I don't think he will. I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Canelo versus Crawford, terms reportedly agreed. A Riyadh season show in the USA. So that is counteracting what Turkey was originally saying, where the Riyadh shows will be exclusive to Saudi and the ring shows will be kind of the UK, the US, wherever. Seemingly not the case. Seemingly this fight, and you would imagine that it is the case, that it's so big that it will get the Riyadh treatment for it, which, to be honest with you, I think it deserves. Quite frankly, it's a massive fight between two massive names, two absolute bona fide superstars in the world of boxing, two of the pound for pound kings. Canelo Alvarez, yes, his star has faded a little bit over the years. Certainly since the Bivol loss, he's not really been as impressive. He's not looked as impressive. Crawford, though, late 30s, 1 foot out the door. Look, it's a mega fight. It's interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll leave it there. Peace.